thing. The sixth one. Revelation concerns what must soon take place. Revelation concerns what must soon take place. There are many time references given in the book of Revelation. We have in Revelation 2 verse 10 days. In Revelation 11 and chapter 13 we have 42 months. We have 12 verse 6, 1260 days. We have 12 and verse 14, a time and times and half a time that we saw in Revelation, Daniel 12. We have in 20, 1000 years. So we see that many of this description we can't take as literal. Okay? But we know that when we look at all of these description of John's vision with time, it's pointing to one thing, that things will soon happen. Things will soon happen. Okay? And in verse 1, verse 3, John says, for the time is near. Time is near. And when we come to the end of the book of Revelation in 22, we see Jesus says, I'm coming quickly. So this book is all about things that's going to happen soon. In the end of book of Daniel, how did it close? In Daniel 12 verse 4. But as for you, Daniel, hide these words and seal up the book until the end of time. That's how the book was closing. But the book, in contrast, the book of Revelation is opening up, is ending not by sealing what is going to happen, the words of prophecy, but the book is ending by saying the time is near. Daniel said, seal it till the end. But John says, this is going to happen soon. The time is near. The Lamb has broken the seal, and God's judgment is coming. And so, John is comforting these believers that all these things are going to happen. Time is near, so don't lose heart. Yes, you are being persecuted, you are under attack. But see, God's judgment on these evil nations will happen. Satan will be destroyed, defeated. Jesus will sit on the throne. And a new heaven, new earth will come. So, there is a sense of urgency, or there is a sense of things are going to happen. So the believers are getting courage and comfort in the midst of their struggles. So that's the book. That is one thing about this book. It concerns about things that must soon take place. Okay? And it was written back then in 1st century, and many things have happened. Many more will happen. So hence, God's children can't sit with a lazy mindset. Things will happen anyways. Why do I bother? No, everything that is said in this book must soon take place. So that's the sixth one. Yeah. You understand that point? Many of the things mentioned in the book of Revelation is beyond the perspective of those people. So those people were done. Their time period was over. Their life was gone. Their life ended at a certain point of time. But the things that are mentioned in the book of Revelation is beyond the scope, beyond the perspective of those people. So today, that's why we have to look at this book and say, okay, if this was written to them in that situation, and if all of these things, all of these visions, all of these incidents was supposed to give them comfort, how does the book of Revelation today give me comfort? That's the question we should ask. What can I learn today? How can it change my life? When I'm going through difficult times, how can this book give me comfort? This is a comforting book for them. But many of the things that I mentioned was beyond their thoughts. It was beyond their lifetime. It still continues. So many things will happen. You see that? So yeah. So what must soon take place? Daniel ends by saying, seal it. This is for the end of the time. But John ends by saying, the time is near. All of these things will soon take place. And in many sense, in many ways, many things are happening, many things have happened, many things are happening, and there will be more things that's going to happen. Okay? The last point. The victory belongs to God. The victory belongs to God and to His Christ. And to His Christ. The victory belongs to God and to His Christ. Yeah, isn't that true? Do you see a similar theme in the book of Daniel?
Yes.
Throughout this book we can see worship. We can see songs of praise and celebration. And this worship is extolling or exalting God's character and His creative power, eternal attributes, but not just God's redemptive triumph and His attributes, but even the triumph of the Lamb over the enemies. So there's scenes of worship and songs of praise and celebrations throughout this book. And the celebration is over God's victory over His enemies. So in chapter 5 we will see it in 12, in 13, in 11, 15, 7, all these verses and passages we see worship going on, celebration going on. So even though the enemy of God will do anything and everything through cunningness, through cunning methods, he will be very hideous, he will try to be smart. And Satan is known as the prince of the darkness. But then the last word, the last victory is belonging to God, to Jesus. And all the efforts of Satan, of that ancient serpent, to destroy God's people, God's church, will be defeated. Now this hope is motivating the church. Because as we saw, that the church is under attack. And what is the motivation? What is the strength that will help them to go through sufferings? It is the belief that the ultimate victory belongs to God and to His Son Jesus Christ. And therefore, the church, when they are tempted to follow the world, when they are constantly given the pressure to fall into sin, they have to remember, no, the final victory is belonging to Jesus. So therefore, I will live trusting in the Lord. I will live a holy life. My strength, my courage, my comfort is coming from whom? From Jesus. So do you see, this theme is a very important theme. In Daniel we saw this theme, right? The ultimate victory is belonging to the sovereign Lord. He is sovereign over all kingdoms. And so a church who is suffering, a church who is under attack, the victory of Jesus promises them hope. So they are able to look beyond their present suffering, and their eyes are fixed on Jesus, on an eternity with Jesus. So that helps them to move on with trust and dependence by living a pure and holy life. So, the book of Revelation is about the triumph of the Lamb. And that theme encourages God's people. So we saw 7 things. Firstly, we saw Revelation is given to reveal. Therefore, its message, central message, is clear. And those who hear it can take it to heart and receive the blessings it promises. Second, Revelation is a book to be seen. It is a book of symbols in motion. And so this book is given in visions full of symbols. And it is paradoxical. The symbols may mean something when we look at it, but it will have a completely different meaning. Then thirdly, we see that Revelation makes sense only in light of the Old Testament. We saw in Ezekiel, Daniel, Zechariah, Exodus, Genesis, echoes of things that happened there. Images, it's used in Revelation. Fourth, we saw that numbers count in Revelation. Some numbers can be taken literally, some cannot. So we have to understand what it means and what is the central message. Then we saw fifthly, Revelation is for a church under attack. Its purpose was to awaken the church and help them know the strategies of the attacker, the devil, so that they can respond to these attacks with not with revenge, but with faithful perseverance and purity. They are overcoming the danger by the blood of the Lamb. Number 6, we saw Revelation concerns what must soon take place. Therefore, we need to understand what was written to those people in the first century congregation, the 7 churches. Now the message to the 7 churches is not just till chapter 3. The whole 22 chapters are for those 7 churches. So that message we have to study, and then we have to see what does that mean to us today. Because many of the things mentioned in the book of Revelation that will soon take place have not happened in their lifetime. It was beyond their scope, beyond their lifetime. So we need to see what it meant then and what it means now. And seventh, we saw the victory belongs to God and to His Christ. That's why the book of Revelation is filled with scenes of worship. There are worship songs. Satan is defeated. The triumph of the Lamb who was slain. And so, how should God's people respond to this truth? In worship. They should fall down and adore and worship God, and their hope should be in this God. That's the same thing today when we are struggling, when we go through difficult times. What are we supposed to do? Worship is the best thing. Worship God. That's why whenever you pray, start with worship. Start with adoration. And not just when you pray, but throughout the day, find time to worship God. Worshipping God is very important for our lives. Worshipping God is a way we can experience His power, His grace, His mercy. It fills us with hope. It reminds us that our Lord is the victorious one. And we belong to Him. He is our God. He is my God. So I can go through these difficult times by trusting in His God. So His victory is our encouragement. His victory is our comfort. So we know that every evil thing in this world will come to an end very soon. But Jesus never fails. Seven things we saw. Is it clear? Yes. Joshua, any questions on these 7 themes?
Numbers count in Revelation. Each numbers has different meaning.
No. I think only 7 has a meaning. Number 12 doesn't have a meaning. 10 doesn't have a meaning. 7 is more of completeness, perfection, perfect.
Genesis. Genesis. Say God took rest.
Well, those numbers are for us to pay careful attention when we see numbers in Revelation. Any questions?
Sir, how 7 spirits represent one?
We don't know. But there's only one spirit. We'll see what that is. It is mentioned in the context of in verse 4. John to the 7 churches that are in Asia, grace to you and peace from Him who is, and who was, and who is to come, and from the 7 spirits who are before His throne, and from Jesus Christ. So, this is like a greeting in Paul's epistles, right? Grace and peace to you from God the Father and Jesus the Son. Same thing. But 7 spirits. What does that mean? What do you think it means? You should have an idea. Think about the number 7. You can think about a possible meaning.
The spirit is perfect spirit.
Yeah. That could be one of the meanings. Yeah. That is the most likely meaning over there. Because we can't say that God the Father, God the Son, and then 7 spirits. Then 7 plus 2 will become 9. But Trinity, we see how many persons? 3 persons.
Angels are also spiritual beings.
The spiritual being, but they are not called the spirits. Being spiritual and the spirit is different. Look at the context. Context will help you. Look at the context. What is the context? 7 spirits is mentioned with whom all? Who all? With God the Father and with the Son. So the most likely meaning is 7 spirits is one way to say that the Spirit's presence in heaven, in the presence of God the Father and Jesus, it's perfect, it's complete. So most likely the meaning is perfection. That's why, it's not symbols. You can't take it literally. You just can't take it literally. Because if you take it literally, you will end up saying that there are 9 persons in the Godhead. That's the conclusion you will need to make. But that's not how it is. Because in chapter 5 verse 6, look at 5 verse 6. And I saw between the throne with the 4 living creatures and the elders a lamb standing as is slaughtered, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Now does Jesus have 7 horns and 7 eyes? No. So there is a meaning to it. It's not literal. We will see that in chapter 5. What could that mean? Okay. Okay. We look at chapter 1. What happened, Luna?
No, sir.
You didn't sleep well last night? Eh?
No, sir. Feeling sleepy, that's why I'm taking water.
You know what? Go for a walk and come. All of you. Go for a walk. Take a break.
That's my question.
Yeah.